Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast at Denver Comic Con 2014 and
forever or something.
and beyond. He doesn't even listen
right.
to our own show. What a jerk.
No, it's been a very short week. I feel like we were just here.
I know. It does feel
Man.
like that. Fuck.
Right?
God, every day it just drags and drags and drags.
Well,
you guys
if we
bringing me
didn't-
down.
If we just wouldn't do this podcast every day, maybe
Anyways, I'm Ryan. To my right is,
James.
to my left is,
Brad.
and we have guests with us today. Introduce yourself to our audience.
I'm John Hozak.
Hi, John. How are you today?
Good, I'm great. And Amanda's here too, but she doesn't want to talk, so I'm not going to give her the microphone.
We'll get her on there eventually.
Sounds
But
good.
Amanda
Yeah,
just punched him in the face.
Just
It's getting,
tap me on the shoulder when you need the microphone.
it's getting
You'll want it
violent.
eventually.
And, John, what brings you to our fine establishment? And by establishment, I mean my home today.
So I am promoting a film I'm making this fall. It's called Pater. It's a sci-fi thriller.
Dude.
Thriller might be a bit misleading. It's pretty slowly paced, I think, and
Methodical.
Yes,
There we go.
that it's thriller in your 2001: A Space Odyssey thriller type of thing. You put the tension there and you just let it lay out.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're shooting in November, and I'm excited to be here.
What's the premise of your movie?
So yeah, I've been telling people it's like Cormac McCarthy's The Road, only in outer space. So we've got.
James looks like he just shit his pants. What is he doing over there?
So I've got two aliens, one really elderly character, and then one who's really young, and they're essentially flying through space looking for planets that are, giving off transmissions or anything like that. And so we join them as they're flying towards one of these planets, and it's kind of what they find there that drives the story forward, and it really is about the after effects of war, whether war is something that's in nature or whether it can be avoided.
Sorry, you said Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and I freaked out. So I'm totally in now.
What inspired you to come up with this?
Well, the concept came from our co-producer and VFX coordinator, Mikey Pounds, which coincidentally he actually gave me my concept for my last movie I made too. But yeah, he just pitched it to me in a bar after a festival we saw at The Bug, and I loved it. And kind of building off of that, I've been a long-time Carl Sagan fan, and a lot of the thematic content in my film just really screams Carl Sagan.
So you've got Matthew McConaughey in it?
No, Matthew McConaughey is not in it. Although props to him for getting his career back on the serious track and not playing a pretty boy anymore.
Have you seen Mud?
I have not seen Mud yet.
You
so
should totally see Mud. It's really great.
Okay.
Every podcast, James tells us we should need to see Mud because he watched it that
Have you
week.
fucking done it yet? No.
No, because I don't want to spend $19 on that movie.
I will bring it to you.
You better bring it to me. That was my subtle hint to you that I'm not going to pay to see that movie.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, Dallas Buyers Club looks good.
It does.
So
yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just launched our Kickstarter week and a half, 2 weeks ago. That's rolling right now. But everything is really centered through our Facebook page. That's just facebook.com/PaterTheFilm. All one word, Pater with a T.
I was just going to ask, how do you do a sci-fi movie on a budget?
You get really clever. So our Kickstarter goal right now is $5,000, and really most of that's going to go towards building the inside of a spaceship.
Yeah.
Which is one of our primary sets. Everything else we're trying to shoot on location. We're planning on going down to the sand dunes. So hopefully that'll give us, kind of desolate alien landscape look that we're going for.
Very Tatooine.
Yeah.
So you must have a very talented set designer then.
We've got several very talented set designers. You can see their bios are on our Kickstarter page. Matthew Plum, Garrett Schruffler, and Brian Harold. I always want to call him Brian Murphy because his email address is Murphy, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It drives me crazy. But yeah, those guys have been working away. We're building some spacesuits too, so I'm excited about that. I've been trying to jump in a little bit. I know it's not my job to do their job, but it's so much fun. So yeah, most of the money's going towards our department, and we're really, most people are working for free, and we're just begging everybody we can.
Stylistically, what do you think what would you compare the inside of that ship or the design of that world to be like?
Well, we have a couple ideas that we've really been repeating. One of them is, I have to quote somebody. I don't know where the quote is from, but somebody was talking about Star Wars, and they said that, the future is old. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we really want to incorporate in, that, this is great technology, but this is great technology that's been flying around space for a long time and probably isn't in great shape. So, yeah, things like the old Star Wars, Firefly, they kind of have this scavenger look to it. But that also we really want to go away from a lot of aliens in movies have a lot of stuff that intrinsically looks human, and we're trying to kind of add these aquatic vibes into the creatures so that we can get away a little bit from, having alien technology look awfully a lot like human technology.
And how do you do that? You don't have to give away secrets.
Try to get your imagination going. I know there's a certain irony in humans trying to come up with things that are non-human, and yeah, it's extremely difficult. And hopefully, we can pull it off.
And when it's done best, it's like creepy and weird, and you don't want to be friends with H.R. Geiger, and like, you just want that guy to stay over there and not come to your house. So.
Well, yeah, the last film I made was kind of a psychological thriller horror thing, and that's really kind of feel like where I want my home to be. So even though this film is a little different, it's definitely going to have some of those darker vibes to it.
So how did you get started in film?
Engineering school. Yeah, I spent a semester in engineering school and was like, I need to get as far away from this as possible, and film seemed pretty far away from that. So yeah, I started at the Colorado Film School in the spring of 2011, and really kind of just fell in love with the community there, and that's really kind of where I've grown from.
And how you've made one feature?
Just one other short.
One short. I'm sorry. And what was your other short called again? I'm sorry.
It's called Cracks.
Cracks.
And it's in the festival submission process right now. Hopefully it'll get screened around town, and I can let you guys know about that soon. But yeah, it's a psychological thriller that kind of has like Rosemary's Baby vibes, where the character isn't sure whether the person is going crazy, or whether they're going crazy, or whether crazy things are happening.
James gave me a look because that's the second time we've heard it this week. Rosemary Baby stuff.
That's true. Not because we hear it a lot. It's just funny that chord keeps getting hit.
Well, it's a great movie. I hope that chord continues to get hit.
It's one of those movies that I saw a while ago, but I refuse to watch Polanski movies anymore. It's a personal choice, but no, that's cool. So you went from engineering school to being a filmmaker. If you had to describe your style, what kind of style would you say your filmmaking is?
Well, I mean, I've done some art outside of filmmaking, and I guess that's kind of trying to draw a metaphor is the best way to do it. As an artist, I'm really a process artist. That I'd say, unlike other directors, I don't have incredibly strong visions going into films, but that I've developed a process that, I kind of just, extract a script, let the people I'm working with do their jobs, and really focus on kind of technical points instead of creative points. And I always surprise myself with how well creative decisions come out when they're motivated by technical decisions.
That's the first time I've heard a response like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
good.
So what inspires you then? What inspires you to make movies that you make?
Well, I get inspiration from everywhere. Like I already mentioned, this particular movie, Carl Sagan, NASA, space, is definitely a huge inspiration. Deeper than that, I have a little bit of a fandom for art theory, and it's just like, I think films should be giving something back. We ask people to pay money to go, spend time on a Friday night to watch our films. I think they should leave with something more than a smile.
And how do you give back to the audience then?
By asking the right questions. I think my favorite films are films that are poetic in that sense, where they ask you a question that you can apply to your own personal life, and helps make you a better person, helps make the culture better. I don't want to get too specific into what that is because everybody has different opinions on everything, which is why I try to stay away from making statements and just asking questions.
How do you feel about Prometheus?
We talked about this earlier. I loved Prometheus. I know a lot of my friends that I've talked to that are even Ridley Scott and sci-fi fans didn't like it as much. But I, especially that the kind of mythology and almost theology aspect of the movie, where it's like exploring the idea that there physically is something that created us.
And it doesn't like us anymore.
Well, the it not liking us anymore, I almost feel like is more of a statement.
Or,
where it's like, I like that they asked the question. I didn't like as much that they tried to answer it. But it also, it fit in the whole, that everything occurs in this natural universe and that the universe has laws. I don't know. It was really awe-inspiring. The whole movie was beautiful, and I felt like the content was deep enough that I got to leave the movie theater and think for a week about it, and maybe learn something about myself or about the world that I didn't know before.
For all of you listening at home, James is getting a huge man crush because you keep on hitting all the hot buttons for him. Cormac McCarthy, NASA, space, you like Prometheus. James is like, oh my God, I would have married this guy.
No.
Civil unions are legal in Colorado, James, so knock yourself out.
Well, are they? I haven't been paying attention.
Obviously.
Oh, good for Colorado.
The feeling is mutual, James. Well, yeah, before we even went into the movie, we talked for 5 minutes, and we were talking to Brad, and Prometheus came up, and you guys were talking about what you're going to go see next week, and you're going to see Bad Grandpa. And I was defending the counselor as a decision over that, and I was like, yeah, James, I think I like this.
But
guy.
James isn't on the show next week, so fuck him.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going next week strategically.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
it's like James's barometer for how cool you are is how you answer the question. So what do you think of Prometheus? And if you say something like, that's a piece of shit, James is we're done. We're done.
You didn't even try, did you? Yeah, that's usually how it works.
Yeah. So it's like there's hot buttons for James too. It's the Star Trek thing. So I try to bring that up every week.
Yeah.
What is the Star Trek?
The Star Trek thing.
Did you buy Star Trek Into Darkness on Blu-ray?
I did not.
Oh, good man.
Because James is pissed off because
I love that movie.
Paramount released different versions of the movie at different retailers. So you had to go to Best Buy to get, I don't know, Abrams commentary, but you had to go to Target to get the Crew commentary. And James is pissed off because he's like, I just want what I want. Like he deserves everything from Paramount. And my argument with him is he bought The Hobbit. And I said, dude, The Hobbit's going to have an extended edition coming out. He's like, it's totally different. It's exactly the same thing.
Fuck.
It's exactly the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
The same
I don't.
thing.
Well, we can't have this argument again.
I don't know. Your fuck reaction kind of just made me think that he was right.
No.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
because of The Hobbit, I can
end of
get what I
interview.
want. There's no feasible way for me to get it. God damn it. Let's move on.
So if I wanted to help kickstart your program, where could I go online to find your...
Well, yeah,
your
Kickstarter has
movie?
like all these little numbers in the URL, so I would just direct people to our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
We usually have a Kickstarter link put on there at least once a week. You can scroll down and find one. But yeah, Pater, Pater, the film, just facebook.com/Pater the film, and we've got a Twitter page, we got a blog with some like backstory content that's going to get kind of gradually released until the film comes out, and all that stuff is linked through our Facebook.
Sorry, it's interesting. I've never heard that complained about Kickstarter before, and it's true. Like, you ought to be able to have your thing be kickstarter.com/Pater.
So yeah, it's like kickstarter.com/like 115738294, some random number, and then it's /Pater, a sci-fi thriller or whatever.
Oh,
so
that's a shame. They need to fix that.
it's a little harder to plug.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Right, yeah. Because how else do you like I guess you're supposed to go to Kickstarter and search for that, but
how do you search for it if you don't know where you're going?
well, I mean, on Kickstarter.
Amanda wants to say something. I knew it. She's leaning over. Give her the mic.
Get her on the mic. Get her on the mic.
All right. I'm great. Now I have to
You're on a
talk.
microphone.
I'm on a microphone now. Yeah, we had a whole bunch of issues with all the numbers trying to figure out how to direct people towards it. Eventually, we just decided on directing them through Facebook because it's easier. However, apparently, if you go to Google and you search Kickstarter / Pater the film, ours will be the first result that pops up.
Very
There
cool.
we
So there's
go.
another alternative, but still, yeah, we just need to have a link that goes straight to it.
See, I'm
Dr.
a
John.
dummy. I've never been to Kickstarter, so like you'd have to kind of how do you search for stuff if you just I want to help someone today, and how do you even randomly find stuff?
They've got a thing where like you can go through like their front page and help with things. I think you can
Yeah,
even
but that's
look
like
at
for
like
the
what's
Zach Braff movie. You know, he's on the first page.
No. I mean, I think they try to promote stuff that like is in its last day or two that's really close. You know,
Well, yeah, they have all the. I mean, on their main page, it's all the category. It's like ending soon, most funded, in your area, so you can look for
Oh,
stuff
cool.
that's happening locally. Their browsing is pretty well organized, but yeah, it is a little harder to if you're looking for something specifically.
yeah, that's funny.
Interesting. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I'd love to be here.
Yeah, because we still got a whole show to go, guys. So
Yeah, thanks for coming on an episode where we see Escape Plan.
yeah, we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Really put in the work.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll
Okay,
get there.
not there yet.
This guy. He expects all movies to be like shit, like
No.
mud.
No.
Don't touch my leg. Don't touch my leg.
No, that was a segue into, hey, what did we see this week, Ryan?
No, I have to tell people what we do first, James.
Oh, fuck.
These guys, when I'm not here, try to run my show, and it's horrible. It's like the worst flow ever.
I'm sorry, we tried to
Intentional.
deviate from the slash film ripoff
I don't even know.
structure.
I don't even know it's a slash film ripoff. I've never listened to that. I don't even know what their podcast is.
It's a slash film ripoff because I built it that way.
Oh, it's horrible. I'm going to change it. Because you know what? You know how I feel about slash film?
The way I feel about slash film.
If you've never listened to Real Nerds Podcast before, every week we go see a new movie and we podcast that experience to the world. James has already spoiled the movie. We saw Escape Plan this week. Which The Tomb is such a cooler name for the
That
movie.
would have been a
I agree.
such better movie, yeah. Or title,
But they
yeah.
probably test screened it. Like,
They did.
Why is it
I read
called
about it.
Escape Plan?
Really?
It's actually the third name.
Is it really?
I forget what the other one, but it had Escape in it, so it's the second version. But yeah, it was The Tomb,
Escapers.
Escape something, and then Escape
It's
Plan.
probably some like Midwestern midwife or something. Like, if it had Escape Plan, I'd go see it.
And in the end, like, I was sitting in the glass half full, like, overhearing conversations, and most people just called it Escape, so it doesn't really matter.
Quickly, let's escape.
Yeah. Are you seeing Escape tonight? Yeah. I was like, it's Escape Plan.
And so stay tuned to the end of the show. We spoil the movie for you, so we will talk about the movie, play a trailer, talk about the movie some more. We'll put in a little clip from the movie. EPK, thank you. And I haven't even watched them yet. I'm sure there's some cool one where Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger are talking.
Let's probably talk about the plan.
Probably, the escape plan out of the tomb. We also talk about movies we've been watching, movie news, Blu-rays coming out, comic books, box office numbers, all that kind of movie jazz. So if you like movies, I hope you like our podcast. You probably will, because it's awesome. Hey guys, I'm going to go into the long box, and I'm going to pull out a comic book.
Whoa. Are we at the end of the show already?
No, fuck you guys.
Throwing me off here.
Wait a second. There was a time where you swore that you would never move fan mail from the beginning of the show.
We don't have any fan mail, so
Oh, okay. All
Sorry,
right. Well,
James.
as long as that's checked off. All right.
I'm gonna make a note to write you guys some fan mail for
thank
next
you.
week.
You
Thank
please
you.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a phone number you can call. Still, we know people are listening. Still, no calls. Somebody, you see a movie, give us a call.
I
Just say, like,
did
this was
get
shit.
word on the street that we're going to get a call from Jigsaw, so stay tuned for that.
Ooh,
Oh.
man.
For our Halloween
Fictional
episode.
character. That's going to be amazing.
Yep. It's I was going to do Billy the Puppet from Saw, but he doesn't talk.
What do you mean you were gonna do?
Yeah. Dude, you know we had the associate producer of Parker on our show. He told
Sure.
me that my Jason Statham was amazing.
Wait, that was you calling as Jason Statham?
Yes, it was.
Oh, man.
Man.
It's like the weirdest coincidence. Anyways, here's a comic book.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
So I've been trying to pimp this comic book for a few weeks, but I keep on getting truncated or trumped, something, whatever. Bumped, thank you. The word I'm looking for.
Fucked.
What? Anyways, I was really hesitant about getting this book, and because the art was a little iffy on the cover, and then I said, I don't care. It's written by Max Brooks. If you don't know who Max Brooks is, Max Brooks wrote World War Z, and it's a great book. And he also wrote the Survival Guide to Zombie Apocalypse. Fun writer. He wrote a comic book called Extinction Parade. Plans on my mind. Extinction Parade is a story about a zombie plague that's happening, and the vampire's point of view of it. First, they deem the zombies as not a threat, but then they realize that the zombies, by killing all the people, are taking away their food supply. And so it's really well written, obviously, and the art's better in the book. It's really fascinating, and the zombies don't notice the vampires because they're already dead. So the vampires are trying to come up with a plan to eradicate the zombies, and they ship it's Avatar Press, and Avatar's book quality isn't always the best. But I do love that they have 4 different covers, and one's called Extinction of the Species, and so it's a really fascinating book, and it's written by a really good writer.
What kind of vampires?
Just vampires.
Well, I mean,
They're
like,
not.
are
They don't glow in the sunlight.
I mean, like, are they like traditional Romanian kind of
No,
like, do they feel like
no.
Dracula, or do they feel like Interview with a vampires?
Kind of like Interview with the Vampires.
Cool.
And there's they have a secret society, and they have a rule where they kill people and they make it look like a homicide or an accident. And so the first two issues are out, and it basically just sets up this vampire world where these vampires they would attack people in Vietnam, the war, or they'd drink someone's blood and then push them in front of a bus. So it looks like they've been murdered or it's an accident. And then they slowly realize that this zombie plague that started is starting to affect their food source. And so they have to have a meeting about what they're going to do. And it's really fascinating. And there's a really great 2-page spread with all these zombies in it. And there's this one zombie in particular that's really cool. She's in the bottom panel, and she's pregnant, and her baby zombie's eating her stomach. It's really cool. Oh. And it'll give you nightmares. But yeah, you should check it out. It's a different book, well written, and then they also have there's a great 2-page thing when you ask me what kind of vampires they are, and the main character is this woman vampire, and she talks about the misconceptions of vampires and how they really are, and it has the Twilight, the Dracula vampire,
Underworld,
dude. I Frankenstein's trailer. I want to see that. That's my Hansel and Gretel next year.
I got so excited for January. January is this really great time where we've just gone through all of the end of the year coverage stuff, and we've watched all the movies we missed and tried to talk very intelligently about what we liked. And then January comes around, and you just get to watch shit every week, and it's so much fun. Oh man.
So as soon as I was watching it, and then all of a sudden it says from the producers of Underworld. I'm like, yeah, there it is.
I'm in.
There it is. It looks just
awful.
like it.
And he's like when he takes out those just weird looking batless sword things at the end, is I don't know why those are there. We're just
And they're
making
fighting
stupid
gargoyles?
movies. Yeah,
I guess.
Who
Who cares?
Yeah, there's that one guy.
Is it rated PG-13 though? That's a bummer.
No,
I think it's had a PG-13 before the movie.
Oh.
On the rating.
Well, maybe they just pulled that off because there's no blood because he's just killing gargoyles.
and when he cuts them, they fall to stone or something.
and they'll utilize the one fuck, and it'll be mediocre enough to be awesome. He'll be like, go to hell, fuck.
No, that was horrible.
Right? No, yeah.
You're a writer. Dude, write something better.
I'm sorry. I just came out of Escape Plan. I can't think of really good one-liners.
You're horrible.
What are you
Because
talking about?
dude,
Escape Plan was full of one-liners.
thank you.
Sorry.
But see, you could have something like I already wrote one better than you. So Frankenstein drops down and he chops the wings off one of the gargoyles, and it's writhing around on the ground. He's like, "I may be dead, but you're fucked." See, already better.
You're right. That was just gold.
It was.
I really wish I could sit in on an executives meeting when they're trying to come up with movies.
You just
to
did.
produce.
Trying to figure out.
And it's like, what if Frankenstein was an action hero? Okay.
Okay, and he has
$50 million.
Wait.
Roll with
Who's
it.
Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Aaron Eckhart. So
How
he's
many-
kind of attractive.
I got one more question. How many times do we say fuck in the movie?
Once.
I'm sold.
Because there's even that
PG-13.
beefcake scene where he rips off his shirt. I'm like,
Since when is Aaron Eckhart that guy?
I think he's always kind of been that guy, right?
Like a beefcakey no, he's like.
No, I think he's always been a cut guy, though, if I remember
Well,
his
I mean,
movies correctly.
I mean, he's fit, but I don't think of him as a guy that
See-
takes his shirt off.
Yeah, but he's an attractive guy. We can ask the one woman here.
You can just nod. You don't have to be on the mic.
Or you're not an Aaron Eckhart guy. So what's your actor? What's your barometer for hot?
I have a few different things, but one thing that I can throw out, since we saw Escape Plan, is really Jim Caviezel was the only thing that made
Yeah.
that movie remotely worthwhile.
Spoilers.
I enjoyed his performance incredibly, and I think he's a great actor, and I think it was particularly interesting to see his typical role completely reversed and him as the villain and as the jailer, because I felt that there were a lot of neat parallels between his performance and the Count of Monte Cristo, but in reverse.
Yeah, break it
That's
down
a
an
nice
old school
pull.
one.
Yeah.
I
I
love
think
that movie
what
too.
she just said is that she, in terms of good-looking actors, Jim is where it's at.
Jim's where it's at.
She, yeah.
My
Yeah,
wife
it's funny
is a
'cause
Chris
it's a-
Hemsworth fan.
It's a movie where Jesus says fuck.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway,
Dude,
we'll
if-
get to that.
Diesel
We'll get
fan.
to that.
If I was Jesus, I'd say fuck all the time. That'd be awesome. And punch zombies' heads off and shit with fish. You're like, hey, what are you talking about? There is a short called The Fist of Jesus where Jesus punches zombies' heads off and kills them with fish.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
We saw a
it's-
short last night.
Yeah, that was great.
Divine Intervention, where Jesus rocks a shotgun.
We have the second coming
Yep.
in modern day. And
That must be like a well to go to now is Jesus.
Yeah.
Like as an action star.
Yeah.
'Cause I swear I saw something else like Space Jesus or something. It's a short
We named an episode Space Jesus.
we did. But there's another one. It's something like that, but Jesus as an action star.
yeah, I think biblical parodies are
That's
are
what's
hot right now. Yeah.
Especially when Noah comes out maybe next year.
Man, if that movie comes out well.
You know, the Bible's great, but if it just had more explosions,
And giants.
yeah, and
If Noah could fight really big people, that would be great.
That would be sweet.
Right?
Dude, he built an ark because when the floods came, it wasn't to protect the animals, it's to save the world from titans.
It was the-
Oh, shit!
It was the tsunami from the big giants stepping in the ocean.
And see, Noah would be someone like Chris Hemsworth, like a total beefy guy, and he like rips off his shirt and shit.
No, Russell Crowe is who I would think of as a big beefy guy who rips off his shirt. Aaron Eckhart is not a big beefy shirt ripping guy.
You just don't know your Aaron Eckhart. I'm sorry.
I guess I don't.
Well,
I gotta go watch
in
No Reservations
in James'
again.
defense, what can we name any other movies where Aaron Eckhart rips off his shirt?
No
Oh,
Reservations. Oh no,
'Cause
he doesn't.
I'm only thinking of like Dark Knight and Thank You for Smoking.
right?
Paycheck?
Right?
Paycheck, I guess. Yeah.
Never seen it.
No, I own that movie. He doesn't rip his shirt off. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
but he could, is what we're saying. It's a John Woo movie, so he'd
It's
be
about the
ripping off
potential.
his shirt, and doves would be flying behind him. Oh,
dude,
dude.
the Paycheck would have been so good if that happened. Oh,
I haven't seen that
man.
movie in a while. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it's good.
You know what's great is
I own it on
we
DVD.
see movies every week, and this is what we saw this week.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Yes, great segue. So we all saw a movie together, but
We did.
fuck you guys. I'm going to talk about what I saw first.
Fine.
I finished watching all my Friday 13ths on Blu-ray. They look great. Except I didn't see Jason X on Blu-ray. Me and Brad, we'll talk about that later. So that was fun. I think the 2009 remake of Friday 13th is maybe one of the better remakes of a horror movie. I liked what they did with the character of Jason. Made him interesting. And there's lots of boobs in it. What you look for in a Friday the 13th. I also watched a movie. I watch a lot of horror movies. You guys know this. And when I went and saw Hatchet 3 by myself...
Aw. Because you're the saddest horror kid in camp.
No, I went to the C Film Center, and it was only there for like 3 days or something, and only one showing a night at 9:45. So I went Sunday, and when I went there, I was the only one in the theater. It was awesome. And before Hatchet 3 played, they had a trailer for a movie called Stitches about a killer clown. And I'm like, it looks all right. But I was at Best Buy like 2 weeks ago, and it was $2.99 on DVDs. I'm like, fuck it, who cares? I'll get it. It's all right. It's kind of funny at the beginning because Stitches is this clown that he goes to this kid's birthday party, and he's late because he's banging some chick, and then he's hauling ass up to the street to the kid's like party, and he almost runs over the kids. That's pretty funny. And so he goes and performs for these kids, and while he's performing for these kids, they all just pick on him and call him a wanker. They're English. It's really funny. And a little fucker, and so they tie his shoelaces together, and then they push him over, and he trips and falls and stabs himself in the eye with a knife. And he dies. But
End of movie.
yes, end of movie. 10 years later, where he's buried, they create like this mythology where clowns all have their faces painted on eggs, and that represents their soul. I don't know, it's really stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. And so Stitches never got to finish his birthday party, and I guess there's another clown thing where they have to finish their birthday party. So 10 years later, he comes back to this kid's 17-year-old birthday party where all his friends are back, and so he comes back to life and starts murdering them all. There's one cool part where he punts this kid's head off. That's pretty sweet.
Does he do like clown-related murders where like he's got a flower and it sprays acid in their face?
No, that's the Joker. But he takes an umbrella and jams it through some chick's eye and then opens it. Does that count? And then there's
what happens to her head?
Nothing. The eyeball pops out.
Oh, like it's not. He doesn't like stab it through her head.
No, she stabs it through her head, and the eyeball pops out. Then he opens it.
It opens on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it now.
I didn't know that was so hard to explain.
Well, I thought he was still whole like.
And then he kills a cat in it. It's pretty funny. He's like, "How many lives do you have?" And he's like, 1, 2, 3, and he hits it on this wall like 9 times. And there's blood everywhere.
Was your wife in the room?
No, because she'd cry and get annoying, so that's good. You guys don't know, we have 3 cats in this house, unfortunately. So it was all right. There's some funny parts in it. It's kind of dumb, though. Like, there's this part where he's, like, walking through a cemetery to find the kids, and they're hiding behind, like, one headstone, and he doesn't see them, but you can... the way it's shot is, like, you can see where the kids are, and you can see where Stitches is walking. You're like, wait, I can see him from Stitch's point of view, because the camera's behind him, and I see them. It's like, where are you kids at? Yeah, whatever.
Well, he's missing an eye, right?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe he can't see. Maybe it's his peripheral vision that's fucked up. Who knows? Yep. So, me and Brad also went and saw Jason X at the Alamo, which is the 10th installment of Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's what the X is for.
Where Jason goes to space.
It also stands for extreme.
It does. Extreme. That's what they did in the early 2000s.
In the 90s. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was made in 2000, and it sat on a shelf for 2 years, and then they released it.
Oh, wow.
The week before Spider-Man. So,
good decisions.
It's the lowest grossing Friday the 13th in the franchise. I think it made $12 million, something like that. And, it's one of the Friday the 13th I don't think is as bad as people think it is. It gets a little goofy. It gets a kind of sci-fi channel-ish.
What's in space? Like,
yeah.
That movie was pitched as goofy.
But I do love the opening to the movie where David Cronenberg is one of the scientist guys, and he has such a great line. They're going to cryogenically freeze Jason, of course, because they can't kill him, and Rowan is the heroine of the movie, and she says, "Wait, what are you doing? Why are you taking him across? He's lined up for being frozen." And Cronenberg has a great line. He says, "No, I want him soft," because he wants to do experiments on him. It's great. I love that part where Jason kills all the military guys and stalks Rowan. And even it's pretty good when he first wakes up on the ship. But then it takes a weird turn where he gets blown to bits, and he turns into what they call Uber Jason. And he's...
Oh, is that when he gets like the super future mask that's all made out of metal or whatever?
And like half his body's animatronic. And
why?
Because I guess it's supposed to be cool.
Because space.
Yeah.
It's 400 years in the future.
Yeah, 400 years.
And supernatural evil has evolved.
It has.
It's nanobots.
Nanobots.
Nanobots. Yeah.
Oh,
Nanobots.
I'm sorry. Clearly, I wasn't
It's
paying
science, James.
I didn't understand it was nanobots.
See, he trashes that, but he's like, "Oh, in Prometheus, when this one thing falls into water, it builds humans."
No, it was the way that Brad explained it to me. Like, oh, it's nanobots. I was like,
Duh.
oh, yeah, you're right.
Brad, what do you think of Jason X?
It's sillier than I remember, and it's like the production value is very Sci-Fi Channel movie. But the one thing that bugged me this time around is like I think halfway through the movie they go like rattle off a list of things they did to try and kill Jason that didn't work. None of them was just burn him
or chop off his head.
Well, even chop it, they could still get fused together. But if you just turn him into dust, I mean,
yeah,
good luck.
But my favorite scene in the whole movie is when he's taking out all the Marine people, where he's kind of stalking them in the cargo bay. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty badass. But yeah, it gets really goofy when he's like jumping from ship to ship, and
Yeah.
as the ships are exploding, and he's going from like outside to space to another ship and breaking into them. It's kind of lame.
So was this the last one before they rebooted it?
No, after this one they made Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, that's right. Well, but it's the last, like...
It's the last Jason solo movie.
Yeah. So how do they kill him at the end of this movie?
He re-enters Earth's atmosphere and disintegrates.
Okay. So, in the future...
On fire.
So burning
Yeah.
him worked.
Yeah.
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 So it comes right
It didn't
back
burn
in.
off his mask though. It fell in the
In the
conveniently
lake.
Crystal Lake.
Yeah, or some lake. Crystal Lake 2. Because
Yeah.
it's Earth 2.
Oh.
Because they dried up all the natural resources on Earth 1.
You know, what would be good is... what would be good is a movie about, like, an alien race, and, you know, you're just getting to know all these aliens, and then, like, third act, Jason comes out of the lake and just kills all the aliens
Mm-hmm.
on that planet.
Sure. Write it. See what happens.
All right. I'm on it.
The holodeck sequence is pretty funny.
Yeah, the holodeck sequence is cool. I mean, it has like some great ideas, and I'm such a Friday the 13th fan that you can see I have a Crystal Lake Memories book on my coffee table. If you're a Friday the 13th fan or a fan of movies, that book's really awesome because it delves into the history of Friday the 13th, but it doesn't do it with rose-colored glasses. People say mean things about people in the book.
Mm-hmm.
They say what's wrong, and the writer and the director of that book of that movie had to make a lot of compromises, and the movie that was written and greenlighted was not the movie that ended up on screen. So,
Cool.
movie we'll never see, ever,
Until they remake it.
until they remake it. Jason X squared,
Dude!
Jason United. That's my X-Men 2 joke. And the last thing I saw, we all three saw. Actually, you know, I'll say one last thing about Jason X. They had the 35mm print at Alamo,
Oh, wow.
and it was really washed out.
Oh,
So New Line really didn't do a good job keeping care of the Jason X print.
Because I'm pretty sure they have the capability to just show, like, a Blu-ray
They do.
version.
Yeah.
So.
They said it, and the guy who introduced it pissed me off because I hate when people pretend that they're fans of something and then they don't get it right. He said, yeah, Jason's fought blah, blah, blah. He's fought Freddy, so now they're setting him in space. Chronologically, that's wrong. Like, you're a fan, but you don't even know you're a fan, in quotations, and you don't even know
Yeah,
how this
he was also
series-
describing like places Jason's been to, like settings wise.
Mhm.
Like Manhattan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said like Jason's never been like they'd never done a movie underwater. I'm like, Jason basically lives underwater.
Yeah.
He comes out of it in each movie.
Yeah, it's...
So yeah, hasn't been paying attention apparently.
Yeah, and so
Mhm.
you can just say, "Oh, I like this movie." You don't have to like pretend you're a fan because when there's real fans like me in the audience, I was going to say bullshit, but
There's like four of us.
there's
there.
only 4 of us there, so
They would have known who it was.
I know what's so funny is the people next to us. We were at Alamo Draft House. You know, they have those things say, "Don't talk, don't text." And before the movie, they're saying, "Oh, we love coming to Alamo. We love it." They were talking through the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
And like, I was going to put up, you know, like these people
I
are being
wrote
loud.
out a note,
But then I'm
they
like,
started
we're the
quite-
only ones in here, so they're gonna know it was us.
Yeah.
If we get them kicked out, they're going to know.
And they're going to wait for us. Well, we could probably outrun them as a really fat chick. I don't think they could have got us.
Oh, what else did we see? Ryan?
Sometimes they really help. We all saw Captain Phillips
Yeah.
the same day. So, we went from Captain Phillips to Jason X, you know, natural progression of movies. For those of you who don't know, Captain Phillips is a true story based on hijacking of an American cargo ship off of the Horn of Africa near Somalia. And it tells a story about it. And for those of you who don't know the story, it's pretty harrowing and what happens to him. And it's another moment in American history where you realize how badass Navy SEALs are.
Yeah.
Because
This is a movie specifically for you when you forgot.
yeah.
Like, if one day you're like, I don't remember how badass the Navy SEALs are, you just go watch this movie.
See, and if I was programming like an Alamo, I would have a night called Badass Navy SEAls. It'd start with 0 Dark 30 and then go to Captain Phillips because
Yeah.
that's just proven how badass Navy SEAls are. But yeah, the story is... You know what's really cool about this movie, though, is Paul Greengrass, who directed it, who also did United 93. If you haven't seen United 93, you really should. It's a great movie, too. But he spends equal time explaining the heroes of the movie, Captain Phillips, and the villains,
Mm-hmm.
the Somalis. And he does the same thing in United 93, where you think that you're only seeing, one point of view of the story, and you're actually seeing 2 points of view. And it's really fascinating. And he's a really good director for these types of movies. Sometimes his shaky camera could be annoying, but it actually didn't get in the way this time.
Yeah, I don't know that I noticed it that much. Maybe because they're on boats the whole time,
Yeah.
so you kind of expect some wobbliness.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also not somebody that's ever been bothered by the Bournes of the world. So
No, I love Bournes.
So anyway, I saw Captain Phillips actually
Yeah.
last week, and I thought that it was really great, particularly the actors who played the Somali pirates.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
They seemed perfect for their roles. However, and I know this is really nitpicky, they almost seemed too perfect in that I was literally sitting there the entire movie thinking, did they just not let those actors have any of the craft services? They look like they're actually gonna die. They look like they're actually starving people in Somalia. Like,
you can
really,
eat when we're
did
done
they-
with this picture. No craft service for you.
it kind of looked that way to me. I don't know, because and they really did fit the role, but
They
it was
did.
just like to the point of looking unhealthy, to where I was a concerned audience member for these poor actors who were being forced to work really long days without food.
That's funny.
yeah.
But yeah, you hit it right on. Those actors are really good, and they're not real actors. I read a whole article in Entertainment Weekly about how they found those guys. And they put out a casting call, and I guess Minnesota is a really big Somali refugee place in America, or...
It's just where like Somali
Yeah.
Americans come
Yeah.
and settle.
And so they put out a casting call, and they found these kids there. And and that the leader that... what's his name? Muse?
Moosey or Muse.
Muse, something like that.
Musey.
Snoochie Boochies.
It was like I kept seeing the name Muse and being like, oh yeah, like the band. And then when they pronounced it, I was like, oh, that's not what I was thinking.
But he plays it really well. He has this
Oh,
like
yeah.
menace about him. I saw even in the trailer where he's like, look at me, I'm the captain now. And then he plays it really well throughout the whole movie.
But it's also like I sympathize with him to some extent. Like you hate that he is doing the things that he is doing, but you kind of understand why, and you feel bad, if not specifically for him, for the culture and society, and you sort of understand why he's doing it, and you understand the pressure he's under. Yeah,
But they also did a
he's
great job making
fantastic.
you sympathetic to him too.
Yeah.
Because even Captain Phillips says, why don't you just take the 30,000 and go? Because the U.S. Navy is not going to let you leave.
Right. Yeah.
And you knew, if you know the story, you already know how it's going to end. But
Let's get Tom Hanks in it. You know.
yeah, and
He
Tom
doesn't-
Hanks
he
is
doesn't
great.
die. Ooh.
Yeah, well, that, and if you know the story about what happens with the Somalis and the U.S. Navy SEALs,
Yeah.
like I mean, it's a true story. They jumped from, was it 27,000 feet in the air in pitch black, landed in the middle of the ocean, right next to the aircraft carrier, got on them, waited for the opportunity, 3 shots, dead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how badass they are. They don't fuck around.
It's awesome.
So don't fuck with the Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
And what, Lone Survivor? When does that come out?
This
oh,
week,
man.
Because
I
that's
think-
another badass Navy SEAL thing.
Yeah, I think it's this week, but really limited.
Yeah, I think it's limited for the next couple weeks or so. I think that's one of those that they may not have a wide release like scheduled. You know, they're going to see what it does.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew about it because it's Danny Dietz was one of the SEALs.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And he was a guy. He graduated like 10 years ahead of me, so I didn't know him or anything. But he went to the same high school as me. So like at like every like ceremony that we had at our high school, pretty much the whole thing was just like Danny Dietz died for you to go to high school. But no, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
Full badassery of the Navy SEALs.
Yeah, no,
and
it's good.
it's a really tense movie. I remember because these assholes bought tickets before I could get there, so I had to sit
Not on
between
purpose.
2 old ladies, and is that Tom Hanks?
Did they really?
Yeah, comments like that.
No, I mean, not that one, but comments like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that comment.
Really, they said, "Is
Yeah,
that Tom
they're
Hanks?"
Like, Tom Hanks is in this movie.
Are-
No, I'm
Are you
serious.
fucking serious?
I mean, it is his name above the poster too. So I mean,
yeah,
whatever.
it is the reason they came.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Where was I going with this? Stay out of my booze. I don't know.
The
Anybody?
you were
Sit
sitting.
to
Oh,
sit
the
from
movie.
season 5?
The movie's really tense. You were sitting next to old.
Oh
people.
yeah, and as soon as they killed those 3 Somalis, and it's not spoilers. You can watch the show on the History Channel. When they killed them, they all went. They were this huge like tension relief sigh
Yeah.
that they did not know how this was going to end for the Somalis.
Yeah.
Not well.
I will say, I think for Tom Hanks, the best scene in this movie is directly after that when he is. You know the scene. If you've seen the movie, you know the scene I'm talking about. It's amazing. He's fantastic.
When he's
No,
in
I know
shock.
what scene you're
But,
talking about.
yeah.
It's when they bring him back onto the ship, and
Yeah,
when
right.
he's getting looked at by the paramedics and everything.
Right.
No,
yeah.
I had a long conversation with the people I went to see that film with because just like the realism of that scene, and that's how any normal human being would react. Like you'd just break at that point.
When it's the fact that there are visibly like 3 different emotions happening at the same time, and they are all he is drowning in all of them, and it's just amazing. Like by all means, it's too bad he got diabetes, but it was probably worth it. He's rich. He can get healthy.
Maybe when he loses a toe, he won't think it's worth it. Diabetes is a serious disease.
No, not
So,
true.
have you guys heard about the real world controversy with the crew members of the
Yeah.
show?
Well, and here's the thing. So I had heard about it beforehand. That basically, the actual crew has been suing Maersk since before this movie, and this movie is based on a book that was co-written by Captain Phillips. So when it comes to being biased, man, it doesn't get any closer than this. But I think the movie actually does a good job of making him not seem like the kind of person that the rest of that crew would have liked. Like. Yes, you see him be really smart, and you see him be brave at points, and he does all this stuff. But he does all of that when none of that crew is around, and when the crew is around, he's like, "You guys are taking too long coffee breaks." Like he seems, And there is even a scene where, because part of the controversy is that they say that they warned him, and they were like, "Hey, we don't want to go through this path. Like this isn't smart. We should go a different way." And he said, "No." That scene is in the movie. And the reason he says no is because there's pirates everywhere. He's like, if we go 300 miles a different direction, there's going to be pirates there too. Like we're not necessarily safe anywhere, and our job is to go this path. And yes, that's a sort of shitty corporate business line to take, but it's the line he takes. So, yeah.
Well, and I'm almost more curious. Like, how do you guys feel about, just Hollywood? Freely taking liberties when telling true stories. Because I almost feel like, I don't necessarily want to see a true story on the scene. I don't think true stories make very good movies. And people get enraged that it's not what happened, but it's like, who cares? It's a good movie.
Yeah, I agree. You have to take some liberties when you're telling a story that's in 2 hours, because if you don't, then the movie's going to be really boring.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they said, it's going to be like 36 hours before they see land. Yeah, that's boring.
Well,
So you got to tighten it up and make it a little more exciting,
and you've got to give it certain emotional beats. You've got to make that character somebody you can really hold on to. Like if you actually make that character who that character really is, like I'm sure that sometimes he was freaked out and not totally brave. Like it's not a movie that I walked out of being super impressed with Captain Phillips. Like if he's telling this story and trying to make himself into like this awesome guy who look how cool he is, I don't feel like that's what I got out of it. So he doesn't succeed in making himself like some superhero. I'm totally fine with Hollywood just making shit up when they tell good stories. The example that comes to mind is Social Network, which a lot of which is very accurate. There's stuff taken directly out of his journals in that movie. But there's also thematically big things in that movie that aren't necessarily true. But it's a really good movie. It's a fascinating, interesting story that, when I think about my own relationships with people, I think about the little things I learned from that movie. So I also think about Fargo.
I was just about to bring that up.
I
love that.
Like... There is something to saying that something is real, even when it's completely not true, that just puts you into a mindset that changes how you interact with that movie. So, I'm fine with it, as long as it doesn't do anything malicious, i.e., Titanic, where it grabs actual people from that ship and vilifies them, even though people from the ship say that person actually was saving people and not the worst person on the planet. Which is
James Cameron is a great screenwriter.
No, he's not. He's really horrible.
His script for Aliens is great.
Oh, God, that movie's unwatchable with the sound on.
It's not that bad. I watched it recently. Hey, speaking of which, you should pick up the Alien Anthology. It's $29 at Best Buy.
Oh man, I should. Man, that thing is
See how
gorgeous.
sweet the box is for it?
Yeah, no, it's
badass.
awesome. Anyway,
Anyways, that's what I watched.
did you watch Walking Dead this week?
I did, yeah. I watched
Yeah.
Walking Dead. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I like the little freedom they're taking with the zombies in it
Mm-hmm.
because there's some sort of new zombie.
Yeah. I like that there's kids.
Yeah.
I like watching Carl play well with others, sort of.
Not really. He doesn't like them.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because we met that little boy at Denver Comic Con.
Chandler Riggs, yeah.
Chandler Riggs 2 years ago, and he was like Brad size, not very big, small.
Just a tiny little whippersnapper.
Yeah, but he was like Reggie size. He was like this little kid. I remember shaking his hand, and his whole hand fit in like my palm.
Like a baby.
And he was the nicest boy. And he says,
he's
"It was so
fantastic.
nice to meet you." And then when he comes on, this season, he's like, "Hey, Dad." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm going to the strip club.
I really hope that he turns into a talented, successful young actor.
Me too. He's good.
I mean, not that he's not talented now, but I mean, I hope that when he gets out there and starts doing other stuff, that he's got the versatility because he's such a nice little kid,
He is.
nice young man, I should say.
He is. And so, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I love seeing it back. I do.
Yeah.
I love the character of Rick Grimes on the show.
Mhm.
More so than the comic book now because I don't think the
Oh,
comic
yeah.
book's very good right now.
I'm like 14 issues behind.
Yeah, I only get the trades, and I'm a trade behind
Oh,
because
wow.
I wasn't that impressed. Everyone really liked issue 100. I really, meh.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's
I like where it went right after 100. Anyway, but
yeah. Anyways,
the thing I want, and you may have been going there, was I really like Rick, but there's nobody else on the show I care about right now.
yeah,
I really want them to. I mean, Glenn too.
yeah.
But Glenn and Maggie. But I want them to find some new characters and flesh them out, and then give us some time with them. Because now they've killed off all the actors that I didn't like, so hopefully they can let a few good.
You didn't
new
like
ones
Shane? I
through.
thought John Berthenol was.
No,
really
no,
good.
not Shane. No. Andrea's gone now. That's the
Mhm.
important part. Sorry.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah. No, man.
When she finally died, I was just like,
And she's fun in the book. She's still alive in the book. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's what I watched this week.
that's what I watched too. Brad, what you watch?
What'd you watch?
I watched Escape from Tomorrow,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
which is the movie that's filmed secretly in Disney World and apparently Land too, as I've been informed.
Hmm.
It's really cool. Initially, it's all in black and white, and the real draw is that it was filmed under the radar, so Disney wasn't paying attention. They were staging all these scenes and stuff in their park, and the black and whiteness gives it this classic like Walt Disney era Disney feel to it. But most of the movie is just you watching this family go on rides and then go through weirdness. It feels like a existential foreign French film.
Aw.
Zoot allures.
What?
That means a rat.
It's really bizarre. There's this guy, and they're at their hotel, and he gets some bad news on his phone. Then he takes his family to the park, and there's these two French girls.
Oh man, my mother died. Let's go to Disney World.
That'd make me happy.
That's true.
I think he loses his job. Is what was going on.
Oh.
So he just wants to blow off the steam by spending like one last good day at the park. And he sees these two like really young French girls and starts like making excuses to go on the rides that they're going on, so he can be a creeper.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, he gets his wife to like split the kids up and like go to different parts of the park and stuff, so he can just be alone. And then he just kind of falls into like these weird situations where like he encounters this woman who might be a witch, and his daughter. He loses his daughter at one point. Yeah.
Is this supposed to be
he
a
gets-
horror movie?
No, it's just weird. Halfway through, like it seems like the movie's probably going to be over, but then he gets abducted and he's inside the Epcot ball with like a android who's scanning his brain for all of his memories.
So does it really take advantage of the fact that it's in Disney World at all?
It's just the backdrop of this really weird
Ugh.
story that I was like, what is going on?
Man.
And then there's like really cool, like they go on the Small World ride, and there's like really good CGI of all the little dolls coming to life as
That's
like
creepy.
demons, like really A-level CGI, but then they'll stage scenes just like outside in the regular walking areas where they're clearly on a green screen and it's just like a backdrop of Disneyland and everything in the foreground is like, props they brought in. It's like really terrible. I'm like, what kind of like how did the budget come out that the CGI couldn't be consistent?
Man, that sucks.
Yeah. So and by the end I didn't care what was going on. He gets cat flu and there's like
Wait,
crazy.
wait.
Flu.
What's cat flu?
I don't know, but apparently it's floating around the park and you can get it.
See, that's the movie I want to hear. I
There's-
want to hear I want to see the movie where like you go to Disney World and you get like some weird tourist disease and it makes you go crazy and then shit comes to life and like
There's like this phantom cam shot towards the end where he finally encounters like the French girls and she gets pissed and spits at him, so like all her saliva like slow motion flies through the air and like lands on him, and that's when he gets the cat flu, I guess.
You know, one of the coolest parts in Disneyland is if you go to Big Thunder Mountain, they have the stagecoach, and all they serve is McDonald's fries. That's a true story of Disneyland. And it's through the air; you just smell them. You're like, man, I could really go for the McDonald's fries right now, and a Coke. Guess what? They have Coke there too.
So yeah, Escape from Tomorrow, kind of disappointing.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's-
how do you feel about just like the film as just an achievement that they managed to get it made?
That's
Like-
the only impressive part, really,
Yeah.
to me, is that they got that done. Although when you see those scenes where they did it at home on a green screen, you're just like there's big chunks of it, so it's not fully they did everything in the park. So, like a lot of stuff that's in the park is like B-roll of him running around. When there's actual drama and story going on, it's like inside this made-up Epcot, laboratory, or a bench with just like a water fountain in the background, stuff like that. Where it's like, okay, well, you didn't shoot that there. So
That's a little disappointing.
yeah, there's a fantastic little short film. I can't remember the name of it that these people made where they did basically the same thing where they planned out. It's two actors and they go into the Haunted Mansion ride and they end up like getting murdered or whatever. And they planned out the whole thing and then they went and did the ride like 3 or 4 times and like filmed everything they could, and then they built their own car at home so they could film like interior shots, and then they like CG'd a couple of characters into the actual ride just to augment what actually happens in that ride. And it's so much fun and really impressive, and is using that ride that we all know, hopefully everybody has gotten a chance to be on that ride, in a really inventive, fun way. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a found footage movie where everybody gets disappeared at the end, but at least it's cool to see them.
Everybody gets disappeared at the end?
Yeah, like they just disappear
Okay, right.
because the ghosts like just come and get them or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to the Sasquatch, to the people at the end of that Sasquatch
They
movie.
get disappeared.
Yeah, they get disappeared. Yeah, just saying that's what happened. So yeah, it's just too bad that they didn't do more with that setting.
yeah. And then I also watched all the unaltered Star Wars movies, but I'll save that for another day.
Ooh.
John, Amanda, what'd you guys watch?
Oh, I haven't been getting to the theater as much as I want to. Well, I saw Gravity last week.
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I can just preface this. I have 2 sisters, and I probably saw Miss Congeniality like 100 times in one year.
I like Miss Congeniality.
Well,
one.
I don't.
would.
I do.
And it's kind of just like really not made me like Sandra Bullock ever since.
I don't like her.
But I think Gravity really lived up to all the visual hype. But I almost thought it fell short a little bit. That, I mean, with the visuals and the story that they had, that some of the emotion in the movie could have been a lot more impactful.
Yeah, I don't get why people say she deserves an Oscar for it. I don't see
Yeah,
the performance
I
there.
agree.
Did you see it in 3D or?
Yeah, 3D IMAX.
Oh, on IMAX.
So
Well,
yeah,
I
definitely
love
visuals.
IMAX.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think you're overpaying, but I think the sound makes it worth it.
Oh, I do.
I like it when my seat rumbles.
Did you see it in a real IMAX or did you see it in an AMC IMAX?
An AMC IMAX.
Okay, cool.
Which
I'm not looking down on that. I like an AMC IMAX. I was just curious.
But yeah, I most of the people I talked to said, if you're not going to see it in 3D, don't bother.
Yeah.
And I think it was totally worth it. And I'm glad to see films coming out that are figuring out how to utilize the 3D better. And are because a lot of the early 3D stuff I felt like was just gimmicky.
Yeah.
And they weren't using it in the proper way. But I think the first 3D film that I really liked was actually Hugo. No,
Sorry.
not a fan.
No.
But then I've been catching up on some Newsroom.
Oh yeah.
I'm a Sorkin fan.
You in season 2?
Yes, I just watched. I don't know where I am.
You're past
the-
the first episode,
yeah.
right? Okay, so as long
Yes.
as the show's gotten good again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just watched the episode where Maggie goes to
Africa? Yeah. Good.
But yeah, I think I've had a little bit enough of the love triangle in the Newsroom.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the characters are all really well developed. I think the actors all do a great job. And I mean, it's hard to beat Sorkin dialogue.
Yeah.
And then,
that show's good.
other than that, I watched a little bit of Walking Dead, but I'm still catching up there. I think I just finished season 3. So whether 2 episodes out now?
No, just the one.
Just the one. Okay.
Yeah, so you're only behind one.
I'm only one behind there.
Good. I'm just glad we didn't spoil the fact that Andrea does for you.
No, it's cool.
Good.
What else? I don't know. I was gonna comment. I watch a lot of weird foreign films too. So originally it being Escape from Tomorrow being a French existential film, I was like,
Well, that's just what it feels like. It's an American
Yeah.
movie, but
well, yeah, I know.
Is there one from this year that stands out that you're like, oh man, people ought to check this out?
I don't think I've seen anything that's new.
Okay.
But I for a class that a directing class I was in, I redid a scene from Cash, the Michael Haneke, French film from 2005 or something like that. That's great, and I love that. And I watched another French film that came out last year called Ors Satan. That was weird. I don't need to say more about that.
Cool.
Yeah, Gravity was really the most interesting thing I've seen lately. And I think I'm excited to see what Quaron does next.
Yeah, 7 years from now.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
I thought Gravity was whatever. I wasn't that impressed with it. It looks cool, but whatever.
Yeah.
Needs more George Clooney.
I agree. I thought George Clooney was great.
Yeah. I'm especially now as far away from it as I am. I stand by. I think that movie is really great and everybody should see it. I think that it is horribly
great.
miscast.
We have another Avatar going on this year.
No.
Explosion.
I'm just saying. I think that Sandra Bullock ruins that movie.
well, here's the thing. I wasn't impressed by her performance, but I almost wonder maybe if anyone else has thought this either. She's so dry because the whole point of the movie is that she's dead inside, sort of, because of the death of her daughter. And this whole Gravity thing is like a wake-up call to
Yeah.
get her.
It didn't work for Will Smith in After Earth, so it doesn't work for her either.
Okay.
Oh snap!
Yep. After Earth.
Well, but I mean, isn't there kind of a flaw? I mean, when you make your protagonist somebody who's dead inside,
Yeah.
you're from the bat having a hard time to relate.
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
it's definitely not
just
interesting, but it's
I was just die already and let George Clooney save himself.
That's exactly. Yeah. Also, it's far enough away I can feel good saying this. The one place where the science is really bad is in the George Clooney floating away part. Because at the point at which he's already stopped, it takes only a slight tug to pull him back. It's the way space works. But anyway.
You've been to space?
No. I just know how gravity works.
James
Is there
just talked
gravity
about
out there?
this. There's a certain level of enhanced realism.
No,
that
I know,
You need
I
to
know.
make a movie interesting.
Hey, if you go back to our episode, I talk a lot about how great the science in that movie is. They only break it there for narrative reasons. So, cool.
Time for me to miss George Clooney.
Aww. Amanda, how do you feel about 3D?
I'm not a fan of 3D. I am one of those people that gets a massive headache when I see things in 3D, and I haven't seen anything yet in 3D where I'm like, man, that really needed to be in 3D.
Yeah.
I just like 2D. It's good. I can see it on a screen. It looks nice. It works.
Yeah.
Why change it? Yep. And I have not seen anything recently. This is actually the first time I've been to the movies in a very long time. I've been busy working on Peter, our film, and so the closest that I have been is on Wednesday. I got done with everything early and just said, fuck it, today is my day. And I probably sat on the couch for about like 6 hours catching up on all my trashy television shows.
Oh, dude, like
cool.
what?
Like really horrible,
No,
horrible teenage girl things that I just laugh at and can't help but watch.
I used to watch Flavor of Love, so give me
It's
some titles.
okay. It's not reality TV. It gets
Oh.
really bad.
Oh.
All right. So
Like
what
some
I
d-
caught
like
up
some
on
CW?
Wednesday, the CW. Yeah. I got caught up on Revenge.
Oh, my
and
parents really like that show.
The Vampire Diaries and
Oh,
the
yeah.
originals and
What's the originals?
the originals. It just started this season. 3 episodes have come out so far. It's a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries because it's that popular. And it's terrible. I would
Is it-
never recommend watching it. What happened is that like I had a friend a few years back who was obsessed with it. And she's like, you have to watch the Vampire Diaries. You have to watch it. And I'm like, no. And she like forced me to watch the first 2 seasons. And I hated it the entire time. And then after the second season ended, I was like, well, now I have to find out what happens.
Yeah.
And it just started this horrible process because I really don't like it. I'm not a fan of it at all. It's just one of those things where you're like, must see what happens.
James does that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched an entire season of Two Broke Girls. Just because I had to know. I was
Yeah,
like,
no. TV,
are they going to get enough money to open their bakery?
It's addictive.
Spoilers, no, they're not.
It's
Wait,
addictive,
that's the
especially when
premise
they
of that show?
like,
Yeah. Every episode ends with a dollar amount, and it's how much money they have in their bank account so they can open a bakery. Because the sassy one is really good at baking cupcakes. Yeah, that's
Lame.
what that show is about. And there's a
No.
little Asian guy, and they make racist jokes. It's real
TV
bad.
is just really great at cliffhangers, and I am a sucker for cliffhangers. So if you can leave me at a point where I'm like, no, what happens? Chances are that as horrible as it is, I'll keep coming back and
Watch
watching
Angel, because that's cliffhangers. That's worth
Oh, I
watching.
thought you were going to say 24.
Or 24.
Yeah. It's
Or
funny that
Breaking Bad.
I haven't finished the first episode, but I actually, for the first time this week, started watching a CW show.
What does CW stand for?
I don't know.
Which one, by the way?
So
Out of
Rain,
curiosity, because
yeah,
no,
no,
this is bad.
The CW just started a show called Rain. and
Yeah,
I'm a
I
big,
actually meant to look at that.
Yeah, I'm a big Borgias fan, and I liked The Tudors, but didn't finish it.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh, I'll check this out. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
It's
they have
pretty-
a show coming out.
Their like set decoration shit
Yeah.
is like I think they're just they think that everybody likes Downton Abbey, so we'll just make the show look like Downton Abbey and pretend that that's what Mary Queen of Scots' life looked like.
That makes
It's
sense.
Do they drink lots of tea? Because that's what
No.
they do in Downton Abbey.
no, then man, and it's all like young teenagers just flirting
Of
with
course,
each
no.
other.
Any CW show is young teenagers that are ridiculously tall and ridiculously skinny. Like
Yeah.
no one, even the adults in any of those shows are played by people in their early 20s, and then you have teens playing everyone else.
Here's the thing. I don't even know what
bad.
channel the CW is.
Two.
It's 2.
Yeah.
It used to be the WB back
yeah,
when it was
it's
cool.
the WB combined with I think like country western or something, and
Yeah.
it turned into the CW. It's really bizarre. They actually have an interesting show that I've seen previews for that's coming up. It's called The 100, which I'm kind of curious about. It's sci-fi, and actually one of the actors in it, one of the actresses actually, was in a feature film that John and I were on the AD team for this past summer. So I'm kind of curious to see that, to see how all that works. But it's sci-fi, so it could be interesting. It's about
Yeah.
these kids who Earth apparently is uninhabitable, so everybody lives on spaceships, and they exile these group of unredeemable kids to Earth to see if they can
to
survive.
see if they can have
And they
sex
find
with
a
each other.
homicidal
Live in
mass
space.
maniac in cryogenic state.
Well, let's just hope it's as good as The Host.
Oh yeah, you like that movie?
No, I didn't like that movie.
Yeah, you did. You said it was good.
I said it was better than Twilight. That's
yeah,
not
that
saying it
means
was good.
That's good.
And just throwing this out for the record, I hate Twilight. I really do.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
no,
not
it's
one of
fine.
those weird teen girls. I just have
Yeah.
an issue
You
with
love
those
Twilight. We
I
could see
don't.
it in your face.
One of my best friend loved it, and she dragged me to every single one, and I hated it. It was awful. Don't ever watch Twilight.
Oh,
we've
we
seen
saw the
them
last
all.
2 in theaters.
I've seen
I
them
made
all.
them. I made them go. Yeah.
Wait, when we saw them in the fourth one, is
Yeah.
that how they go? I don't even know.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
the
I watched
fourth
the
one-
first 3. You know, I said, I never gave these movies a chance, and James is making us see the fourth one. I'm going to watch the first 3, and then I'll see the fourth one. It was
They
the
are
longest week of my
hilarious.
life.
Ugh.
I had a headache all week long,
Billy Burke is amazing.
except Billy Burke.
Man, remember when he's chopping wood?
Yeah, and Wolf Boy comes down, starts taking off his clothes, and Billy Burke
Burke's
has
just
a
like,
look.
I don't have fucking time for this, man.
Yeah,
That's his line
It should be.
in my head.
I've only seen New Moon, so I'm good.
You didn't see the other 2 with us?
Nope.
How did we let that
But
happen?
the funny story with Brad is, what I'll take down. I'll let you peek behind the curtain, guys, a little bit. Is his sister took him to see New Moon, and Brad dressed
No,
like
no,
a-
no. I took her to see New Moon because my
Oh.
dad requested it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, Brad dressed up like a vampire and didn't you make yourself pale and?
Yeah, I painted my face white and put glitter on me, and then I took the book with me so I could be a Uber fan, just
I
like
wish is
correcting.
there photographic evidence of this?
Mm.
No, it's.
Oh,
Sorry.
How did we let that happen?
I didn't even know you then.
No, you didn't.
Anyways,
I meant we as a species.
here's how we pay bills.
For barbecue that can't be beat, try Birdman Barbecue Sauce. Available and original and spicy. These robust, full-flavor sauces have the awesome power to kick your taste buds in their face. And for that smoking taste on everything you eat, try new Birdman Smoke and Rub. Caution! Meat left unrubbed may suffer from flavor performance anxiety. You can pick up Birdman Barbecue at local area Ace Hardware stores, Ruff's Barbecue in Golden, and the Danny Cash Hot Shop off Broadway. You can also like us on Facebook at Birdman BBQ.
My man spider sense is tingling.
Hey, look, it's Man Spider.
How's it going, true believers? When I'm swinging through Colorado and I need comic books, I head to Arvada, Colorado, to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Oh no, the teal troll is attacking me.
My son's in danger. Will no one help him?
Oh no, it's Man Spider.
Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, the whips the competition with great deals on back issues, 50% off, hold slot, 20% off list price. You want sports memorabilia? They got that too.
Where are you going, Man Spider? The teal troll still has my son.
Here's web in your eye.
Oh no, I'm bested by Man Spider again.
So visit 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado, and tell them the Real Nerd sent you. And we're back, live from Denver, Colorado. This is the Real Nerds Podcast. We're kicking off another Top 20 countdown here at the, I don't know.
That made me tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to a really sweet episode of Nebcast, me and Brad do that for an hour and a half.
Oh God. Headache.
This is what happens at the box office over the week.
This is the box office stats.
Gravity was number 1 again.
Yeah. It's got good word
It
of mouth.
eased only 23%, which is that's a really good hold. Machete Kills, which we saw. Machete Kills.
No.
Bombed with 3 million. 4.
Well, almost 4, but it was in 4th place is what I was trying to
No.
indicate.
Captain Phillips was 25 million.
Yeah. Good for Captain Phillips.
Yeah,
And good for Machete, because that movie is bad.
it is.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
It's
No.
not really. And you talk to a guy who loves stuff like MacGruber, and I
I know. I'm just saying, I still want to see Machete Kills in space.
Hey, I'm not saying I won't go again.
I also want to see Robert Rodriguez make a new movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Desperado 2.
Without special effects.
Yeah. Yeah, Desperado 2.
I don't want to see Desperado 2.
Okay, all right, fine.
Wasn't Desperado 2 Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
Yeah,
No,
I
actually,
didn't
I'm pretty
like
sure-
that movie,
I'm
so
pretty sure Desperado 2 is what's one that
El
you made after
Mariachi.
that? Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it's the second one.
yeah.
Mm.
Technically, it would be El Mariachi 4, but I don't like Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Johnny
Is it-
Depp's in it, dude.
Yeah, he's really boring and he loses his eyes. It's a stupid plot.
Yeah, Johnny Depp isn't that good.
Whoa.
Yeah, I said it.
Anyway,
He's good in some things. I'm tired of these people saying Beetlejuice is a good movie. Or Edward Scissorhands. Shit sucks.
It does not.
It does.
I'm sorry. It's gonna come out now.
So Beetlejuice or Edward Scissorhands?
Well, you see, I honestly, I didn't see Beetlejuice for a very long time because I thought I was going to hate it.
'Cause it's
and then I
stupid.
saw it and I loved it. There's something about it. It's quirky and it's weird. And I'm going to be one of those people that says anything that Tim Burton does and anything that Johnny Depp does, there is something redeemable in it, and I love it.
Just like my wife, when she took me to see, Alice in Wonderland, I'm like, oh god.
Okay, Alice in Wonderland. It was a great movie. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Until the last scene when Johnny Depp did that weird little dance thing. I just don't even know what happened at that point. It was awful.
Really great movie?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh, okay.
I really loved it until the last 5-10 minutes.
See, Beetlejuice is great when Beetlejuice is on screen. There's one big problem. He's on screen, I think, for 7 minutes in the movie.
You know what's really good?
But what is your issue with it? You just think it's
With
boring?
issue,
or?
I think it's boring, and I don't think it's that cool. Like, everyone thinks it's so creative, and to me, it's just that, oh, sweet. They have stretchy Play-Doh faces, and they're haunting people, and Winona Ryder is dark. And
Well, I think it's a cute little story, and it's a twist on the genre, especially at the time when it was put out. And I mean, one of the little clever things, which I was actually reading a blog post on it earlier today, with the Tim Burton movies, is a lot of his tie-ins. In fact, that
how much stuff you can sell at Hot Topic?
No, how in Beetlejuice the map of the town. You actually see a lot of his other characters, like Jack Skellington is in the map of the town and other
funny.
things. And in
that planned
fact,
out before.
Jack Skellington has appeared in some way or another in almost all of Tim Burton's movies.
Isn't it so weird that Tim Burton takes credit for Nightmare Before Christmas and all he did is do character designs for it?
No, he created the story and he was going to direct it, but he couldn't because of the
As you know, my
conflicts with Batman.
Now you know how I
Is
feel.
Jack Skellington in Batman?
Man,
I think on that, just Tim Burton's Batman. Does that kind of settle the argument on whether or
Yep.
not Tim Burton is any good?
whoa. I was trying to say a minute ago, Ed Wood and Big Fish. Those
Okay.
movies are brilliant.
I like that Batman.
But
I agree.
Amanda, now you know how I feel when he tries to get my goat with Star Trek Into Darkness. So
But yeah, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Tim Burton. He is he is more concerned with his brand than he is about making movies.
I believe that's true now. yeah.
Because it's
he says in his own interviews he couldn't tell a good script if it bit him in the ass.
Yeah.
He said that.
obviously he helped write Batman.
All he cares
But
about
you
is
have
the
to
production
admit that
design.
you have to admit there's something brilliant about having a brand that is so set and people having something where people can instantly walk into a movie and see something and know it's yours.
I think that's true as long as it doesn't get stagnant. And I think that's the problem, is that he's getting to a place where I see his stuff and I don't think he's being creative anymore. I think he's trapped inside that brand. That's my problem. Because I don't agree with Ryan. I like Edward Scissorhands. I love a lot of his early movies. I think especially when he gets dramatic, like in Ed Wood and Big Fish, he's so talented and has a really interesting vision. And I don't care about his movies for the last 8 years.
Okay,
Man, did you
I
see
wouldn't
Dark
say-
Shadows? Dark Shadows is a hot mess.
I did see Dark Shadows. I was amused by it. I wouldn't say it was brilliant by any means, but it was amusing. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying in a way. Like, I love Tim Burton. I love his movies. I will continue to see them no matter what. But there is definitely some truth to the College Humor video, Tim Burton's
Right, yeah.
Wonderland, where it's like, oh, what are we doing for this movie? Well, we'll take a story that's already dark and creepy and make it 10 times creepier. And the whole everything's paint and black and spirals and all that.
See, I don't
Yeah.
think his movies are creepy either. Like, they don't speak to me. He has
think
a
they're-
following, but to me, it's. Eh.
I don't think they're genuinely creepy. I think they are.
And he always just tries to have these eccentric characters, and
Weird.
to me, they just become cartoons on screen that don't fit into any universe in the world. Like, I like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I like Ed Wood. That's about it. Meh.
He used to like Big Fish, but then he's been ranting like this for 2 years, so now he doesn't like Big Fish anymore.
No, it's another movie where it's I just can't get behind it.
Here's the thing: everything you just said is true in Big Fish, but that is part of the plot of Big Fish. Is that there are these cartoony characters that aren't real and don't fit into the world. But anyway,
Thank you for explaining that to me.
I'm just saying you're wrong.
This fucking guy.
What came out this week?
I don't give a shit. probably something by Tim Burton.
You do give a shit.
He likes Sweeney Todd too. So
Yeah, Sweeney Todd's not bad.
Oh yeah, Sweeney Todd's good.
Again,
yeah.
it's different. When he tries to do something different, he's a cool guy, but it's Dark Shadows is horrible.
It is. Anyway.
Remember when she's a werewolf for no reason?
And here's the thing: that movie could have been cool.
Remember when he gets
just-
out of the grave and he sees McDonald's and it's funny, except it isn't.
Just go listen to our review of that movie because I remember us like describing what would have been a good movie out of that movie. But anyway,
No Johnny Depp.
Let's move on.
Just kidding. If Amanda had Cyclops' ability to shoot people with her eye, she would just shot me right now. The funny thing is my wife's the same way, and I tease my wife all the time because one of her favorite movies is Corpse Bride. Now I say that's a piece of shit, and she gets really mad at me.
Corpse Bride isn't bad.
Yeah, me and Amanda have really different tastes. We argue all the time.
About Tim Burton.
Corpse Bride is great.
If you guys have time
like
later,
Corpse
our adaptation debate that is ongoing is always a good time.
You remember
Hey,
when Amanda was like,
speak of the
I'm
devil."
never going to use the mic.
I think
I
Laura's
know.
ears are burning.
She
Yeah,
literally
I was
almost
just-
ripped your arm
Hang
out.
on, Ian. The podcast I was just telling people how shitty Corpse Bride is. Followed closely by Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh,
Nightmare Before
also not
Christmas
true.
is a classic.
Also
and one
not
of the best
true.
things
Also
about
not
it
true.
is that you can
It's not
totally
directed
play
by
it
Tim
for
Burton.
any holiday ever. Any holiday. Because you have the circle of trees with all the holidays. You can literally play it at every single holiday and it works. It's fine. It's great.
Yeah, but those holidays have other movies I'd rather watch.
No. I'd rather watch The Nightmare Before Christmas.
When Thanksgiving comes around, I'm
A
gonna watch
Muppet's
Planes,
Christmas
Trains, and
Carol,
Automobiles.
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch. Yeah.
No, I would literally watch The Nightmare Before Christmas for every single holiday. I was one of those kids, like I loved it so much
Arbor
as
Day?
a child that my parents actually threw away the VHS of A Nightmare Before Christmas because they said I watched it too much.
You could
Yeah.
actually make an argument for Arbor Day because all the tunnels
trees.
are all the trees. Yeah.
Yeah. See? It works.
I knew what I was
for every
doing
single one.
when I said it.
The Easter Bunny's there, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
That was also not directed by Tim Burton, by the way.
Anyway, let's move on.
What's coming out on Blu-ray?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
All right. Ryan's gonna get The Conjuring this week. I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Honey, you're
Probably.
singing away in my ear. Fuck. God.
And that is
She's trying to
recorded
give me a wet
forever.
willy, and she's like piercing my eardrum. You seen that commercial where they should not use like Q-tips, and the guy like so overacts and puts it in his ear. He's like, "Ow!"
I saw a YouTube video the other day that was just a compilation of like bad acting moments from infomercials.
Sweet.
It was like
Do you
the
ever
greatest
have
5
a
minutes
hard
of my
time
life.
cutting things with your normal Walmart knives?
There's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
See, run, Ronnie, run.
Criterion is unleashing,
Unleashing.
releasing their own version of The Uninvited, which I don't remember.
Cool.
Anyway, it's
That's an
probably
old
good.
horror movie.
Go check that out. The Way Back comes out this week, which I really enjoyed. People should check that movie out.
Steve Carell.
Yeah, Steve Carell playing a bad guy.
It's awesome.
Yeah, like a Bond villain. Not really.
He'd make a good Riddler.
Monsters University, The Internship comes out this week.
Nice.
Before Midnight.
Oh, magical.
Not quite. It would have been magical if it had come out when I was watching the other ones.
Oh, you haven't
But-
seen it yet?
No, I haven't
Oh,
seen
that's
Before
one you
Midnight.
haven't seen.
Right, yeah. So what happened, you guys, was that I wanted to see Before Midnight but had not seen the other ones. So I every week for 2 weeks I watched the first two. And then it's the third in the Richard Linklater every 10 years gets together with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. Yeah, right. Thank you.
You see her boobs in American Werewolf in Paris.
And he just catches up with these characters that, like, the first one they just run into each other in Paris, and then who knows what happens, and then they catch. Anyway,
One of my
They're
favorite
really-
things to
yeah.
do in this podcast is because James really over-explains things, is I always try to derail him.
it's romantic as fuck. It's really good.
See, he's still going.
And
He
so
had a chance to
by
see
the-
it in Boulder, and he was like, "Oh, it's so far away."
So by the time I got around to having caught up, it was gone. and I couldn't.
We'll
see
just do
Before Midnight.
commentary
So now
about
I'm
what
really,
he's talking about.
now I'm really excited.
Yeah, I love the first two, and I haven't seen Before Midnight yet.
Oh, good.
either,
Well, you
so-
can come over and we can
Yeah,
watch Prometheus
I'm down.
together.
And jerk each other off. It'll be a really great date night.
Only God Forgives, which is Brad's favorite movie of the year.
It may be. You'll have to find out on the Film Explosion 2013.
It's funny because it's a Blu-ray release, but it's actually been on, like, when it released in theaters. I think it had like a day and date video on demand
Yeah.
release too.
They usually do that with shitty movies.
Oh,
I
they do it
haven't
with
seen
like,
it. It might be cool.
yeah.
It's not. Brad says.
Yeah,
I don't-
I love
I wish
Nicholas
I-
Winding Refn, but I couldn't even get through like the first 15 minutes of
Oh,
it.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. I love
Oh, man.
Bronson and Drive, but oof, yeah,
Yeah.
this is pretty boring
Wow.
and weird.
15 minutes.
Or
Now I gotta see it. Man, I gotta check it off my list anyway. So there's a. I haven't.
Is that a
looked into this.
documentary?
Yeah, I think it's a documentary. It's called Necessary Evil: Supervillains of DC Comics, and it's just got a cool cover. I didn't know it was a thing until we saw it on Digital Bits, which is part of what's cool about Digital Bits. I give it a year, which is was that comedy from earlier this year? I can't remember. Oh, that's the one that's got Rose Byrne in it. That's right. Anyway, nobody cared, so now it's on DVD. And finally, Return of the Killer Shrews.
Sweet.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of shrews.
Wait,
They got
who's the
super
actors
teeth.
billed in it?
John Schneider,
Oh, he's good.
James Best.
He's all right.
who's- Damn it! Oh, you beat me to that joke. And then Bruce Davidson. There is no joke inherent in the name Bruce Davidson. So
is he from X-Men?
I don't know.
The Senator? No.
I'm looking.
Never
I'm looking at.
Doesn't look
no,
like him.
No. There's a guy. There's an old guy who looks like John Voight. There's an old guy kind of looks like Bruce Greenwood. And then there's some young guy kind of looks like that dude from that one band. Not Jared Leto, but the other one.
What's James' favorite band? One Direction? I guess, kind of, yeah.
No.
It's generous calling him a band.
Maroon 5. He looks like that guy from Maroon 5.
Adam Levine.
Sure,
He
I
can
don't know.
sing.
He's got his hair sort of combed that way, and he's trying to shoot a shrew with a shotgun that looks like it's so poorly photoshopped. The shotgun looks like it's about 6 inches long.
No matter if it's in Maine.
Anyway,
So this is a random side note. Did any of you guys see the One Direction documentary?
no, did you?
Well, no, but like what?
Well, no.
But Morgan Spurlock did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Did you
Probably
did you
showed
see
him
the
the money.
movie he did before? Did you see Palm Presents?
I
some more
did.
Ads? Yeah,
And I actually really liked it.
that's all right.
See, his Handsome wasn't good, though.
Yeah,
It was funny when, Arnett and Bateman were on screen, but the rest of it was me.
it's one of those things where like a documentary can be hit or miss sometimes because you come up with a premise and real
Yeah.
life has to deliver you a great story.
Yeah.
And Palm is all right, but didn't make a lot of money, and so I can
No,
see
yeah.
why the kids from One Direction might be like, "Hey, who's that one guy that everybody knows for doing documentaries?
yeah.
Let's call him."
Well, you just
And
wouldn't
when
think
they-
that would be a project that Morgan Spurlock would be interested in.
Yeah, that's
Money.
weird. I'd do it for money.
Yeah.
James wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would.
I
No,
I
in
probably would too.
in Morgan Spurlock's shoes where he doesn't have any money. Our argument is if you already have money,
I'd still do it.
all right.
That's what we call it, the Jason Statham theory.
Well, One Direction has a lot of money, so you
Right.
know, it's good paycheck.
Yeah.
I'd do it. Who knows?
But if they called Jason Statham and said, "Do you want to direct a documentary?" I would expect
and
Jason
he would
Statham
say,
to go,
only if it has to do with me seeking revenge on someone.
But first,
I need to know if you're wearing a wire.
Anyway, that's what's coming out this week.
Cool. Is there any real news this week, James? You and look.
I forgot that we hadn't done that segment yet.
It's real news.
There's really not much. Damon Lindelof. Brad tells me that Damon Lindelof turned off his Twitter
yeah, he deleted his account.
because the internet
Because he was
is
yelling
full
at
of
people.
assholes. No, honestly,
Well, no, I
like-
mean, not like yelling, but he got mad at people for
yeah.
saying stupid stuff to him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but when Breaking Bad ended, all of a sudden he got inundated with tweets about how bad Lost was again, and you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like,
See, I wouldn't quit. I'd just like, fuck you. fuck you, and I just keep on retweeting that.
Well,
and
but
then,
well,
who's going to say that
no,
people aren't
no.
going
The
to
truth
hire
is,
him?
no. What he ought to do is, you know,
He needs to write Prometheus too.
not what he ought to
Back
do is
to Earth.
ignore them and then just keep doing what he was doing, which was tweeting some really fun stuff, and like he was really funny sometimes. I loved seeing his tweets, but so yeah, it's too bad. Hopefully he's got some secret one somewhere that I can find out about.
You know, the name for Prometheus 2 is called Prometheus Origins.
Wasn't Prometheus supposed to be Origins?
It's like Alien Origins.
Yeah.
It'll be a found footage movie, just like Alien
Mhm.
Origins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's an asylum film called Alien Origins about the government sending some military guys into the woods to shoot at the woods. At least that's what I got out of it. So,
Are you stalling because you're out of news?
yeah, I'm out of news. That's all we got.
This week we saw Escape Plan, starring 80 action icons: Sylvester Stallone and Jim Caviezel.
80 action or like guys from
Whoa.
Just kidding. And Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did I say Arnold Schwarzenegger first or Sylvester Stallone? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
There was
in
a
this
joke.
movie.
Somebody laughed.
Yeah, because he was only an action star when he was getting beat up as Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah, that movie's really boring.
it was really gruesome.
It's boring. How many times do you have to drop the fucking cross? Dude, just pick it up.
God damn.
You know, just throwing it out there, he does play an action star in the television show Person of Interest. He's
Oh,
ex-CIA.
that's right, he does, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he is kind of an action star.
He is, you're right.
But he's also a better actor than either of the other two, so really I wouldn't put him in the same place.
Yeah.
But that's
Oh,
okay.
better than Benjamin Linus from Lost. No.
No,
No, she's
I was
talking
saying
about
compared
Escape
to
Plan.
Stallone
Oh,
and
oh.
Schwarzenegger.
Oh. All right, we need to get into this so we
Cool.
can talk.
John, should people go see Escape Plan?
Sorry, what?
Should people go see the movie we saw this week?
Well, that depends on what sort of movie experience you're looking for. In reviewing this movie, you kind of have to ask, what did they set out to do? And I think they accomplished what they set out to do in making a fun action movie. If you're somebody that gets bothered by lots of logic problems and things like that, just maybe turn that part of your brain off for a little while. No, it was fun. Maybe not super intellectually stimulating, but I hadn't seen a good action flick in a while, so it wasn't bad.
Cool. Amanda?
Jim Caviezel. That's really all I have to say about this film. That was really legitimately the only thing. I was just sitting there in the theater thinking, thank goodness they're spending so much time talking about him as a villain, because otherwise this would probably have been a movie I walked out of.
Whoa. Brad?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Yeah, it's half and half, good and bad. The only big thing I have to ask is so the whole point of this is they build a prison to disappeared people. And if they want these people gone, why not just kill them?
Nice joke callback.
Like, why do they have a prison for people that they want to see gone forever?
Well, I
Just
think it's
kill
people
them.
that they need gone, but they still need information from type deal, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's what it was
yeah.
supposed to be. It didn't really
Yeah, Hobbs
set
is
it up
making
too
deals
well,
left and
but
right, bro.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's got its fun parts, but yeah, it's a huge logic mess.
James?
I'm
going to go take a break.
So, right up there with Shawshank and The Last Castle.
Let's just start the trailer now.
I'll say it this way: I really like the Schwarzenegger part of this movie, and I really don't like the Sylvester Stallone part of this movie. If that makes some sense. Like Brad said, it's got its fun parts, but it's pretty mediocre and forgettable. And
I also forgot to say that I like this movie a lot more when it was called Lock Up.
Dude,
and Donald Sutherland was the villain.
Oh, Lock Out. What was the one in space?
He was Lock Up. Lock Out's the one that you saw
space.
by yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks for rubbing that in. Yeah, Lockout. Lockout's a cool future prison movie. This one's not.
That's it? You're done?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad I didn't go get my drink of water. Actually, I thought this movie was lots of fun.
Yeah.
I don't care about logic. I had fun watching Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger shoot people. That's fun. So here's a trailer for Escape Plan.
The mind of a man confined works differently than someone on the outside. He sees things in a different way. A successful breakout depends on 3 things: knowing the layout, understanding the routine, and help from outside or in.
We got a runner. Put your hands in the air now!
Showtime.
Ray Breslin is able to break out of any prison designed by man.
We're testing a prototype facility to deal with people no government wants on their books. The people financing this need to know these facilities are escape-proof.
Contact on site?
The warden's name is Roger Marsh.
When do we start?
We just did.
Welcome to your new home. I'm Warden Hobbs.
Hobbs. Where's Warden Marsh?
There is no Warden Marsh. This is the reality, and there's no way out.
Go make some friends. You're gonna need them. Back away. Who were you before you came in here?
I break out of prisons for a living.
You don't look that smart.
You don't either.
The people who paid for you to be here want you here forever.
Ray's gone off the grid. Where is he?
This is the Shadow World.
Code name the tomb. Phrase anywhere, it's it.
Where is here?
I don't know.
This was a setup. Somebody wanted to bury me.
You have a choice. You can die in here, or you can get out and punish who put you here.
I'm gonna find out who, and I'm gonna find out why.
Let's do it.
I need a diversion.
Okay. You hit like a vegetarian. That was good.
What's he up to?
They're planning an escape.
Lockdown procedure engaged.
Drag the rats back to their cages.
If I don't get out, I kill you.
Fair enough.
Your time is up!
You tell whoever put me here, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.
Yeah. I mean, the premise of the movie is Sylvester Stallone, if you've listened just to the trailer, because the trailer gives away the premise of the movie, is he's this guy who can break out of any prison, and so he's hired by the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Is that a real thing? I don't know.
Probably.
And, hey, guys, it took place in Colorado at the beginning.
That's right. Woo! Represent.
Represent! And so he's a really clever guy, and he shows how he can break out of prisons, and he gets put into the Tomb, which is a prison that you can't break out of.
And I think that first part where he's breaking out of the normal prison, I think that was pretty interesting. Like seeing, and the way they did it, where he just sort of magically breaks out, but you see him MacGyver the stuff together, and then he magically breaks out, and then they go back and show you oh well, this was that, and then this was that, and I was like, oh cool, is this going to be toilet paper MacGyver, where he can make anything he needs out of toilet paper? But then once he gets into the Tomb, I was far less interested.
Really? Because I thought the beginning it was kind of slow going.
Yeah.
And then when he got into, we started hanging out with Schwarzenegger, I thought it started picking up steam, and because they were fun.
I like all the parts with Schwarzenegger, because just as we said with The Last Stand, man, Schwarzenegger is still a movie star, and the difference between the two is that Stallone's line at the end is "boom." And then Schwarzenegger's line is actually well delivered, still stupid. The one about "have a good day, asshole," and you're like, that's also not much of a one-liner. But the way he delivers it is so much fun that you're like, yeah, asshole.
Schwarzenegger's timing is really good.
Yeah,
that's why Vin Diesel sucks, because he can't deliver one-liners like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Where he says, "have a good day, asshole," and he has that beat. And that beat sets up everything else he says, and that's why Schwarzenegger is the man.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the other thing is Schwarzenegger's character was more believable, because he was a criminal. Here he is in the Tomb. Whereas Stallone, it's okay, here's this older guy who is in incredibly good shape, and you used to be a prosecutor?
Yeah.
Really?
He used to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
There's some like really poorly fleshed out story about like, oh, his family's dead and
Yeah, I
and
didn't
a
even
bad
catch
guy.
that. Like, the entire
did,
movie.
Did somebody
This
break
guy's
out
so
of
full of
jail and
shit.
kill his family, and then that's why he's like, I want to make sure
You are
nobody
full
breaks
of
out of
shit, sir.
No, I honestly
I'll
like.
tell ya.
Apparently, that's what it was. I did not catch that the entire movie. I'm like, okay, obviously his family's gone, but really, what happened to them? I don't know if it was just
I'm
me
going to
or...
out James at this part. When Amy Adams, who is at his desk and pulls out the picture of the drawing.
Amy Ryan.
Amy Ryan. Okay.
Amy Ryan.
I was confused. I was like, wait, Man of Steel?
Amy Ryan. James goes, oh, like, yeah, you did that. You sighed.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. So
Oh,
I have
no.
to,
Oh, no,
no,
it's
I have to
backtracking.
tell a different story now. The woman to my left was really into this movie.
Because it was awesome.
And every time anything would happen, every time somebody would get punched, I would hear her go like, "Oh my goodness!" oh. And then like when that happened, I heard her.
What was she doing?
And so when that scene happened, I sort of jokingly went, "Aw." Like,
Oh,
there's
sure.
a
Likely
picture in the
story.
dead. Yeah,
Likely story.
Yeah. No.
Well, so that was one of the big logic problems of the movie that I had. That this guy, his family got killed by somebody who broke out of prison, and so he became this prison escapist to prevent that. And then at the end of the movie, he's like escaping a prison with a guy who's supposedly going to take down the world banking system and like presumably a terrorist.
Well,
that he's
but
going to help
he's
escape.
He's a Robin Hood. He told us he was Robin Hood. I don't know why you have a problem with that.
Well,
why don't you just trust him that he's Robin Hood and that the other guy totally wasn't part of Al Qaeda?
I mean, I don't need to like
wasn't. He's part of a
make
drug
stretches
cartel.
about the characters
that's
of the
right.
movie, but it's like they preface this tomb thing by saying these like the biggest, baddest dudes that the world has ever seen, and he's helping them escape from it when
Yeah.
like he's trying to
But it,
be good.
But really, I mean, he let one escape and then he kind of blew up all of the others. So
Yeah,
I think
so
it evens out.
That's
a
sinking to
little
the
bit.
bottom.
With the good doctor in it.
With the good, yeah, with Sam Neill.
Sam fucking Neill, man!
The
I was so excited when Sam Neill
the
showed
coolest
up.
doctor since Dr. Helen Grant.
His hair looks good.
Yeah, I think he's a good-looking guy.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean that. I just meant like I thought he was going to go bald or something.
It's okay, James, to think guys are good-looking.
Well,
James, this
I
might
just don't
surprise
think-
you,
Hold
but
on.
in movies they have makeup. It can
hold on,
make
hold
you
on,
look
hold on.
old and young.
I just didn't want to go right out there and say I don't know that Sam Neill's a good-looking guy. But see, now I sound like I'm saying bad things about Sam
Yeah,
Neill.
no,
I was
it's
trying to
fucked
skirt
up.
around it, and then you made me.
Here's a sweet scene of Schwarzenegger and Stallone talking to each other.
10 seconds. Where's Victor Mannheim?
You know, to many people, he's a hero.
9 seconds.
Do you have a pencil and a piece of paper?
8 seconds.
I could draw you a map. You know, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be an artist.
Oh my God.
Problem was, I had no talent.
6 seconds.
I tried, and I tried, and I tried.
5,
Do you ever have dreams?
4,
Or did you always want to be this?
2, 1.
Done. Look. There. I told you. No talent.
I don't know what we just played, but it was
But
something.
this whole movie is that. So.
Yeah.
You know, last weekend you told me to find a clip for Machete Kills,
Mhm.
just assuming there'd be a good one. Yeah, they had 4, and they were all terrible.
Were they?
Yeah. They did not reflect the movie at all.
Oh, because they were all. Didn't you just say they were all terrible?
You should have tried to find the Alamo Draft House where he's like, "Don't fuck with this Mexican."
Yeah, I should have. Yeah.
When it's not to talk. But I still think the movie, it's stupid and cheesy, but I still think it's fun. There's something I miss about those kind of movies where, you know, everything has to be so serious and things like that. I miss scenes where Schwarzenegger in slow motion dismantles a machine gun off of a helicopter and in slow motion spins it around and starts mowing down hundreds of henchmen. It's
that was
awesome. See, to
That,
me,
like I'm saying, the Schwarzenegger part of this movie is great. Ugh.
See, I would have liked to see the drug guy, who apparently is not part of Al Qaeda, survive. Because from the moment they introduce him as like central to the story,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, he's going to be the one that dies. Because obviously
Yeah.
one of them has to
Oh,
die
yeah.
in order for them
Well,
to get out.
yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was more interesting than either Stallone or Schwarzenegger.
As a
so I was kind
character.
of rooting for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
he's
I like
praying
a
to
scene
Allah.
where
What's that about? Pff.
Oh,
Go back to the
Damn it.
sand.
oh my God! These are the times when no one knows you're joking, Ryan.
Which, hey, that was a great line. Just throwing that out, like that interaction when he's dying and when he says, like, God is great. And then Jim Caviezel says, yeah, whatever, and shoots him.
Yeah, he's
that
pretty
is
awesome
That
in
was
it.
a direct
Yeah.
correlation to the Count of Monte Cristo when
Also,
Jim
Jesus.
Caviezel says, God will have his vengeance, and the prison warden says, right, and starts beating him.
No, see, I don't remember. I've seen that movie again. It's a great movie.
Oh yeah, it is.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Made better by the fact that they change it from the book.
But yeah, he's great in the movie as Warden Hobbs. He has like these great character things, and he's just so cool and calm, and he's a total dick.
He's rubbing his tie.
And working on butterflies.
Yeah,
See,
That
that's
he builds with tweezers
Who
through
builds
a...
butterflies?
Okay, hate to give away the story, but just
Oh,
thought of
we
this
spoil
in
it.
retrospect.
Oh no, we're already in the spoilers.
How does he get these butterflies if we're on a ship in the middle of the ocean?
You get some.
Didn't you see
shit
the
there.
helicopter fly away a couple times? Maybe he has special
They send
butterfly
out for
runs,
butterflies?
Airlifted
Yeah.
butterflies.
airlifted butterflies to his
Which
state
only,
quarters.
wait, pieces of butterflies, because then he has to glue them together carefully.
Or maybe he was just like building the butterflies like with his tweezers, like molecule by molecule.
You know what I don't like though is every time I see Vinnie Jones now when he tries to be a tough guy, the only thing I think is, "Oh, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!"
Yeah.
because I hate that line.
Well, and because anymore he's just not as cool as
Yeah.
he is like back in Snatch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I agree.
I don't know. It feels like I don't know if he's hamming it up or he's just not trying.
I know. It's probably because he's just doing it for money.
Probably.
I
See
would.
how bad it is when people just do things for money.
Meh. He's
and
rich.
when they don't work with Guy Ritchie anymore.
What does Guy Ritchie do anymore? Stupid movies with Madonna?
No, they've
No,
been
you're-
divorced forever.
Those Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies. you
Oh, that's
love.
right.
Yeah,
I do love those ones. He is a cool director.
yeah. Remember
When
when
he's not making that Castaway with Madonna.
Swept Away?
Yeah, I know. I was...
Castaway's a good movie.
Don't spoil Castaway. Castaway.
Yeah, I don't know. I still had fun. Like it's Escape Plan has a fairly good pacing, and I was never bored. And
And I took my 11-year-old niece Taylor to see this,
Mhm.
and she liked it.
they say fuck a lot, but there's really no violence.
Yeah.
The lady next to me, though, every time that there was like supposed to be violence, like when Vinnie Jones falls down the stairs, which was very tame, because then you just see like a shot of him and like he's laying there and there's a pool of blood. Man, she freaked out. She saw that and she was, oh my goodness! And I was like, what did you think happened? He fell down the stairs on his neck.
I mean, really, the only thing that was missing from this movie was when Schwarzenegger opens up the hatch and he's running. He should have said, "Run! Get to the chopper!"
Damn it.
Oh,
That would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
They should make a Predator with him coming back as Dutch, like as a Predator hunter, where instead of the Predators hunting humans, he hunts the Predators now, goes into space. That'd be awesome.
You know what I got really excited for because of this movie was the new Conan. Like a movie where he's Conan but he's old. Oh, like letting him be an actor and lead a movie again, and something that's like cool and different. It's not just him as
Yeah,
a
he has
sheriff.
a few
shooting
movies
people.
coming out.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad he's back.
Me too.
That's kind of my problem with the movie is like I don't know why I keep going in expecting like it was fun watching Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, be on screen together, but for some reason I go thinking, oh, well, in this day and age of like what kind of movies they make, they're going to elevate their game, and then I go watch the movie and like, oh, they're still making the same movie they made in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like they haven't learned anything new.
If anything, I would say that those guys in this movie elevate the material itself.
Yeah.
And Jim Caviezel, but like if you recast those characters as no names, this is
Yeah. It's a straight to DVD.
Yeah, oh yeah. It just
Starring
doesn't- it just
Jason
doesn't
Statham.
It just doesn't get made. Oh yeah. Actually, unfortunately, yeah. Man.
With Jason Statham, like I feel like he's a guy that could take more serious roles and just doesn't.
This is what I've been saying. This is my whole argument, is that he is actually a good actor. And if you go back to like the Snatch days when he
and Lock, Stock.
Yeah. He really was good. And
Yeah.
now he just chooses these roles that are shit. And
Yeah.
now he's typecast into it.
Well,
so
because he also makes
has
millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also
So-
doing like Redemption goes straight to DVD.
And I'm sure he's really heartbroken about it.
No, I'm
But
sure-
I mean,
I'm sure he's not, but-
I think I've heard from
Swiping
Jason
his
Statham
tears off
in
with
interviews
them.
where he's like, "Yeah, most of the characters I play are one-dimensional." But it's almost like he just has an agent, and he's like, "Yeah, I just act in movies wherever they tell me to go."
Yeah, it's just a shame because I like Jason Statham, and it's not that I don't like the Transporter, the first one, but when every movie you do is the Transporter, we've literally hit every running conversation for the last 2 years in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
Next, we just got to have an argument about, or we just have to have a conversation about Quickster. Remember when Netflix was, or Quitflix? Remember when Netflix
Quickster?
was gonna, whatever it was called.
Nope.
Neither does anyone else.
No, I do, but I remember
Yeah.
you were really pissed off about it.
Was I?
Yeah,
We talked about
you
it
thought
for
it was
a
like
few
the
weeks in a row.
stupidest name.
It
you've
was.
ever heard.
No, it was a really stupid name.
We had a whole
Obviously.
segment we called "What's Netflix screwing up this week?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then turned into what's AMC fucking up this week.
Mm-hmm.
When AMC
James
was
is deep down inside is one of the internet people that just doesn't post on the internet.
what?
He's called you a troll.
That's the meanest thing you've ever said to me. Man, I am not a troll.
I hate Star Trek now. I hate Netflix.
Oh my god.
I hate this.
Can we end this show? John, Amanda, talk about how people can find you guys.
As I said earlier, our Facebook page, facebook.com/PaterTheFilm. Pater with a T, Pater. Everything that we've got is linked to on the Facebook page. So we've got a ton of content out there, and you can find it all there. And Amanda wants to add something to that.
I was just going to say we do have 16 days left on our Kickstarter, and we are only a small percentage of our way there. So spreading the word, showing your support. Right now, we are just focused on raising funds so we can make this film into reality.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Thank you so much for having us,
Thank
guys.
you. And thanks
for
for
coming by.
We knew we'd get you to talk. We knew
No,
it. We got
she
you.
almost ripped your arm off trying to get that mic a couple times.
I knew it was going to happen.
Hardcore.
Yeah. In case you forgot something, James, I'm sorry. I was just teasing.
No, you're not.
James is really upset about
Just
that.
shut up.
He's so upset he's not even going to buy Star Trek Into Darkness, guys. It's going to be like the longest running joke, like my Jason Statham joke. Been going
Honestly,
on since January.
That's the whole tactic you have. You're gonna keep making this joke until I buy that DVD just to shut you up.
No, I'm going to be like, I told you you're going to buy it.
He already owns it.
Yeah, I own it, so.
No,
No.
James does.
You don't
What?
know. No, he doesn't. He borrowed it from his brother.
Yeah.
Well,
To
they
prove
live in the same house.
to prove
No,
a point.
we don't. No, we don't.
To prove a point. And even Jake is like, dude, what's wrong with you, dude? Just get the fucking movie.
No, actually, Jake felt slighted.
No.
Slighted.
Did he? What
He
feature,
was kinda
what
mad.
feature did he not get that he wanted?
I don't know.
Exactly. No one knows because no one cares. Bye. Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find them on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.